So Claire, is there anything you'd like to start out with, or do you want me to just dive right in?
Dive right in, please.
Okay. Hi, Linda. Oh, actually, it doesn't look like Linda is on audio yet. Let's just give her a minute. There, she's connecting. Not having any luck on the audio. We'll give her another minute and see.
Feels like we're playing Hollywood Squares. Remember that old show?
Oh, yeah.
See all those different boxes?
We've got too many boxes.
You look more like the Brady Bunch.
All right, we'll give her another minute. I don't know if you have an option to contact her. Maybe we can just email her. Could you email her, Betsy, just to see if she's able to get in?
Sure.
Oh, she just got on. She just dialed in, it looks like. So, hi, Linda.
Hi, how are you? Yeah, for some reason my audio part's not working.
Oh, yeah, we saw you trying to connect, and we were just kind of hanging in there just to make sure that you got on.
Oh, well,
so.
thank you.
You're welcome. So thanks everybody for attending today. This is really just an introduction to the Nucleus. It's basically a business intelligence platform, and we are dumping all of the data that we have into the business intelligence that will then, allow us to show reports and things like that. And then you can kind of filter things down, and I'll just kind of just get right into it, and we'll go from there, and kind of you can ask questions along the way. So let me just go ahead and share my screen. Let me know when you can see that.
I can see it.
Okay, great. So right now, I'm logged in as Butler County, because Butler's not a staffed county, and they're kind of, they're just not a staffed county. So we'll just pick on Butler. So, but what will happen is I sent everybody, I emailed everyone a piece of documentation that has the link to get in, and then what will happen is I can give you your account information after this, but you will go in and log in, and you will see your county. If you are a county exec that manages multiple counties, you would see the option to just change the county that you want to look for your data. So when you first come in, this is what you'll see. There's a screen such as this, and it will tell you your total members in your county. This right here, let me see if I can get a, I'm going to get a little button, spotlight button here. Okay, so everyone should be able to see this spotlight here. Each one of these squares is called a card. And I have that outlined in the documentation. So each one of these is a card. And if you want to go to a different card, you can scroll through by clicking this button here, or you can scroll through by clicking this button, this arrow up here, and it will go through to the different cards. This card right here, your first card, this is essentially live. So when I say essentially live, I don't want to say it is truly live, because there could be a 15 to 20 minute lag in the time, but for all intents and purposes, you're looking at live data on this one right here. And you'll see these other ones here, and the reason these aren't live is because they have to be point in time. They have to be, because you'll see chapter members for the last 6 months, and then you'll see up here that there's a cutoff for August because we haven't completed September yet, so it's not going to have that. So that data, if you were to look at your members, your total members in August, it may be slightly different than this member number right here. So I just want everyone to be aware of that. That's the big difference that you just need to know, that this is pretty much the live data here, and these are point in time data snapshots. So what will happen is I can go through and look, and I'll just scroll through and show you some of the different data cards. We have chapter members in the last 6 months, chapter members for joins or renews in the last, rejoins in the last 6 months, chapter membership by tenure, and it'll break down the different years of tenure, the different categories that they have, whether you're an active physician, associate physician, administrative, etc. Grace status, this is something that you're probably not familiar with, and I'll just do a brief explanation on it. When we switched to NetForum, right now our dues schedule runs, or our membership runs for the calendar year. And so on December 31st, after December 31st, you are technically, your membership has expired. You are into the next year. If you haven't paid your dues, your membership has expired. Well, we still allow you to have membership benefits up until March 1st. And on March 1st, then we would process the actual termination. So in essence, there's a 60-day grace period. And so we have that 60-day grace period in there. And so what will happen is you're not going to see it right now, but in January, you'll start to be able to process this and use some of this data, because you'll say, okay, I have these number of members that have not renewed and they're in that 60-day grace period, and you can then go in and pull reports and maybe help with recruiting or renewals and things like that. So that's kind of what that means, and we can kind of go into that a little bit more as it gets a little farther down in the calendar year. So and then this one's just terminated members. So I'm going to go back and I will show you a couple of things. So say I want to see our chapter members in the last 6 months. When I click on that card, it will also bring up new data cards that come up, these new interactive charts. And we have chapter members by month, dues revenue by month, year over year, chapter dues revenue, year over year cumulative dues revenue, and year over year chapter members by month. And I'm just going to scroll right back to the top. You see there's this, it has the timeline on the bottom, and it will have the total members by month. Now again, this is for Butler. There's this slide bar down here. I can slide this and drag it down to go all the way to January of 2015, or I can expand it and get the whole big picture just the same. So you can kind of drag this around and make it more visually appealing for you, or if you just want to capture a little bit for the year or a certain number of months, you can do that, and you can then drag it to different places on the chart. So I just wanted to kind of let you know that there's this little drag bar / slide bar, and you can kind of change the size of it, and you can also drag it around. Also, if you hover your mouse over any one of these columns, it will then highlight the exact number of members and the month and the year. So in terms of this next chart, we have dues revenue by month. Again, we've got the same type of slide and drag bar. You can kind of change this and see the patterns that happen that, you know, hey, you can see these, you know, general timeframes of when renewals are and get the historical data there. Once again, if I hover over any one of these columns, it's going to tell me the month and the actual dues revenue for that month. This is the year-over-year chapter dues revenue. This is the cumulative, and then we have the chapter members by month. Let me minimize my one panel here. On the right, you see this, these filters. These filters are really a huge part of what makes Nucleus so dynamic, in that I can pull information very quickly by just using any one of these filters. I can just click on any one of them and say, I want to only pull the age 40 and under. And as soon as I click on that, it's going to change my numbers on this graph and all of the other graphs below to show me exactly how much revenue, how many members we had, month to month, or however we wanted to do it over the course of this time. We can choose gender, we can choose their generation. I could say I want to see how many females age under 40 and under were members during whatever period of time I wanted it to do. So you can go through and choose all of these different options in the filter. You can do whatever you want. You're not going to hurt the data. It's in a read-only state. So you can feel comfortable, you know, playing around with this and filtering however you'd like, and know that you can't really break it. There's nothing you can do to it. So that's kind of another nice thing, that you always can just uncheck the box and then go back to the default. One thing that I note in the training documentation, you'll see this little green asterisk here. And there's a green asterisk here. And that's because I've chosen to filter on age and filter on gender. If I want to, I can just clear that filter altogether by just clicking the X, and it will go back, and I'll click on the other X. And then this takes me back to the original data. So again, there's so many different types of filter options you can choose from, but you'll probably just be concentrating on certain ones. You may choose to filter on medical member type and say, I only want the active, or I only want the residents or students or whatever. And so I could just say, here, I want to choose all my residents, and then, you know, we'll let it filter. And then this gives me all of my residents for this county. And then over the course of the time for this. Now, they didn't have any dues because they were free, so, you know, these are going to show up as blank. Okay, does anybody have any questions on this so far?
Chris, I guess I'm a little curious, is the YOA cumulative dues revenue by month? Like, I'm trying to figure out, I guess that's the 12 months. I can't see it very well, I'm sorry, but
let me try and make it bigger. Okay, so which one were you doing? Which
I was just curious. The breaks in there are like when there was no dues income that month, I guess is
that's exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just zoom back down. Sorry, it's got to refresh. Yep. So if there's nothing in there, it's going to be that for that year. Which one is this? Okay, so that's for 2020. Yep, there was just, for this county, there was just no dues revenue. Now,
Okay.
your data is going to look probably significantly different. And so this is just one small county that's not a staffed county, and so it's going to look different. So, yep. Okay, let me just go back. So now, if I want to go back, well, if I say I lose this filters option, and I'm not sure where to get the filters, I just click on this filters button right up here, and it will display the filter options again. So, so now I hit the back arrow and I go back to all of the cards, and I can see the different cards, and we're back in business that way. But I'll take you to a couple of other ones here, and we'll see, just so you can kind of get a better understanding of some of these. So we have the chapter members by tenure. Let me just wait for this to pull up. So this will give us the the different number of members that we have in this county that are in the 1 to 5 years of tenure, 6 to 10, 11 to 20, etc. And you see that there's 14 members that have 41 years and greater of tenure. And again, by hovering over any of these columns, it tells you the information. So again, there's just different charts, donut charts, pie charts, bar graphs, line graphs that give it this information and show you some of the trends. Once again, you have a drag bar / slide bar, and you can see some of the different historical trends that have taken place. If I again wanted to do this and I want to choose by age or gender, I could choose female, and as soon as I do that, it's going to then filter out all of the information and show me. I'll just click in here, and then it removes that, and then it will give me all of the members by tenure who are female. Or I could go and choose IMG and say I want to filter on only IMGs, and then it shows that I've got a fairly decent number of IMGs who have 41 and more years of tenure. So, and then to clear that, I will just hit the X button. Now, one of the questions you may have is, how do I get this data? So right now it's nice and pretty and everything, and it's really handy to have this, but now once I've filtered out and I figured out that I want, let me choose the IMG again. Yes. And now I filtered this out, and I want to pull the names of these individuals. So I've got this information here, so I can scroll to the bottom, and I can click on this data button. Before I even do any of that, though, you're certainly welcome. You can print these reports. They're nice and visual, so you can print them, or you could screenshot them and place them however you'd like. But if you really want the raw data, you click on data, and this new window pops up. You're going to leave this defaulted to CSV, and you're going to click on download. And hang on a second. I see this download request failed. I'll try it again. Let's see if I can refresh it. But when you click on download, never had that happen, so that's a new one. We'll see what happens. When you click on download, it will typically give you within 5 to 10 seconds a file that you can then open up in Excel. So I'll just refresh it and see what happens. Click on data. And for some reason, it's not liking it. I'll just leave it for a minute. I'll try something else. So, if I wanted to start back, I'll go back a notch and again, when I go and I just have all of my raw data that shows my active live data, I can click on Explore and open up this card, and it will give me some of the same types of information that are in the other data cards. But again, I can filter that down as I wish. Some of them are just, some of the filters that are off to the right. Members by age, by gender, tenure, trustee grouping, things like that. So, okay, so this one's going to work because it just refreshed this. So I would hit download, and gives me my information. We'll let it download the information. And it gave me an email saying that just finished. Okay, and here's our file. And so this is going to have all of the information that I just have in the raw data, or if I filtered it down for certain things, if I only wanted people by tenure for 1 to 5 or female or whatever, but I didn't choose any of those options in this data filter. So this is going to have all of my information, the email address, phone number, that types of, all of the account information. One of the things that we found is that the output of this file, we're not real happy with the order in which it is. So we're going to try and get them to reorder the columns so that they're a little bit more friendly, so that they may be in a more in a format that you're used to seeing, so that you'd see like, first name, last name, or last name, first name, address, email address, and without a lot of these other things kind of peppered in between that kind of get a little confusing. All of the information is really there. It's just, you just got to keep scrolling over and finding, it's just placed, in oddball places, like in the end for the email address, when you may end up wanting it over here. So we're just going to try and clean that up a little bit. So, oh wait, are you even seeing this? Oh, you guys should have said something. I'm moving around. I apologize. I thought it was, hang on. Let me make sure it's sharing the whole screen. Hang on. So anyways, sorry about that. So this is what would open up. You'd see the Excel spreadsheet that has the raw data. And what I was saying is about the columns, we're going to try and see if we can get them to rearrange the order of the columns, just that it will make a little bit more sense for everyone, so that we'll never be able to please everybody to get the columns the way everyone wants them individually, but even if we can get something that just makes a little bit more sense to us, we'll try and do that, and you all can feel free to reorder these however you want once you download the data. It's your data. So let me go back.
Chris, is this totally going to change from what we're using or doing now, or in addition to?
Yes, so that's a good question, Eileen. So right now, we are moving away from the old system into the new system. So this is the new way that we're going to be pulling. We want you to pull your data. There are 2 outstanding things that we need to have this company do to create for everyone, so that we can make sure that you have all of your data. One of them is the group report. So right now we don't have the group report created, so that you have your, your whatever various groups that you have for billing and membership. So that's got to be set up. And the other one is the non-member. The non-member data has to be pushed over as well. That's already been created. It just has to be activated. So once you do everything here, let me see here. So what would happen is, I'll just hit the little back arrow. You would hit this little hamburger button here, and you would change over to non-member data, and it would pull all of your non-member data for your county. So pretty much the same types of things, but you won't have, you won't have any financials on them or anything like that that wouldn't pertain to non-member data. So yes, so the bottom line is, yes, this is the new way we're going to do it. There is a very small transition window where we'll obviously keep the old reports that aren't available on Nucleus available to you, but those will go away. So.
I know you're all going to laugh at this, but I was just getting used to the other system. So now, for example, if I want to go and get the docs that are 40 years of age and younger, go into Excel, bingo, put in what you need, and it pops up. So that's going to be totally different now.
Yep, it's be totally different, but I think, Eileen, I think it'll be a lot easier for you. So when you go in, you're just going to click on here, and you're going to automatically see your members 40 and under that way, and you can strictly choose your, let me minimize this, you click on age, click on the 40 and under, and you'll export that document and you'll have live information. So
This is also in relation, this change is also answering the request that we've had for more real-time data. So this is literally within what, Chris, 15 minutes, half hour
it's
of real time versus once a week. So we felt like this was a better option because that has been a request since we have gone to providing the list on our share site. So we felt like this was a much better way to provide that to you, because you can go in anytime and get a real-time list.
Yep.
Chris, if you can you do a demo right now? For example, what I just said, physicians 40 years of age and younger. Can you click on that button, what you just showed me? And after you do that, bring up their names?
Yep.
So, bring up their name, address, birth date, all of that right now?
Yep. So I'm in here and I want to filter by age. So I'm going to choose the age filter, 40 and under. And then it will refresh and give me my breakdowns of this and all of that information, but I want the live data. So I can just, it kind of displays it right here in this little window, a lot of the information, but I'm gonna hit download. And it will show that it's working on this download right now.
Where are we seeing that it's working on it, just so we don't?
Well, it says it right here in the top. It just says pin.
Okay, I get it. Okay.
Yeah, it'll just take, so I just got an email saying that it was finished. I can go to the download center and just double check it. There it is, it just popped up. So, all right, and there I can go to download. And then I can open up the spreadsheet. And this is all of the people that, sorry, there we go, had another sheet open. These are all the people that are 40 and under, gives them their age and all this other information about them, congressional district, name, address, male, female, due cycle, join, renew, etc. So it gives you a lot of additional information on that person, but that's just from the quick and easy spot of,
Is birth date on there too?
I'll double check it. I do not believe we're passing birth date. I got to double check.
So Chris, since this data is available to us all the time, we don't necessarily need to use the lists or save the lists, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And then if you wanted to save one, I guess it makes sense to convert it then to an Excel file rather than a CSV. Does it really matter?
Yeah, it's the same. It would be essentially the same. You can save it out in any format. Once you've downloaded it, that's your point in time data. You would just, give it a name, of that date, and then, you could know. But again, you could also, that's if you wanted to say, I want this information for September 9th, 2020. And, this is not going to show you, this is going to give you the information by the month or by the year. And so if you really wanted a point in time data for an actual day, you'd want to save out the CSV file like that. So
Please stop it.
yeah, frisky cat. So are there any other questions on this? I think part of it, you're just going to have to kind of log in and take a look around and see what you can do with some of the filters, and then what you can do with the data output, so that you can feel comfortable with it. And part of it also depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Are you just trying to accomplish things for trending, or are you trying to do things so that you can contact members and recruit? Or are you trying to contact them if they fall into a certain category or group? So, it just helps us to, filter down and get that actual data that you want. So, back to my question:
Chris,
are there any other questions? Do you have any questions you'd like to review on this? So,
well, and Chris, get back to the list and Eileen's question. We are going to put the list as you're used to them through December to give you time to get used to the new system. Ongoing, we will continue to put the full PA Med list there because that won't be available through this mechanism. So we will continue to post the PA Med list ongoing.
is that going to be on a monthly basis, Claire, or does that need to be any more frequent than monthly?
I think we were doing it weekly.
Are we? Okay.
Thanks, Claire, because I was just going to say, if you just wanted to look up a member, it's a lot easier to just keep, this is great for recruiting, but if you just want to look up a member, it's good to download and have just a membership file and easy look, because this is several different steps if you had to look up a member all the time.
Any other
Chris, this is
questions?
David
Yeah.
McKeegan. I guess I'm real curious if you would consider any input that any of the people working in the counties may have on the value of some of this data. When you had it up there and it had the list of the members, it appeared to me as though Butler County was mentioned at least 4 or 5 times. And I guess my problem with the current system is that it's just full of data I don't need or don't want. And I have to sort through it all the time, and it just makes it not worth using. As you move along, is there any way you could maybe get some input from people that are going to be using it?
Certainly, yeah, we're always willing to take input, but I guess I'm not sure we were doing this on Butler County. This is Butler County's data. So I guess I'm not sure what you were saying in terms of, too much data.
Well, it's just things I don't need and never will. Some of the fields, I don't know how others feel about that, but when I go in, it's just so cumbersome. It takes much longer than it should to find some information. Maybe it's just me and I'm getting too old for this stuff.
Well, and that's part of why right now there's the options on the side. And if you like to filter on certain things, you can filter on those things. You can disregard them all, though. If you disregard all of them, then of course, yes, you will have a lot of data in your initial data download. So, but I mean, we're always, you know, open to suggestions and input by all means. We do have to also understand that there are, we can't make it so that one county sees one type of card and another county sees another type of card. So I mean, there's those types of limitations that we do have. So.
I personally am a data person, so I love the data. And for me, it's like a good point to be able to show certain specifics. Like, you know, you did mention, you know, 40 and under or IMG, or, you know, what's the pace? What's the trend of our membership? Is it going down? Is it going up? Are there specific months where we see certain trends happening that if we see the trend, we might be able to, you know, help something if we see a trend going down. So I personally love all the data, and this here to me is like, I don't have to do the pivot tables in Excel like I used to, because now all the data is right there. So I'm thrilled with it, Chris. Thanks for all your hard work on it.
Sure, thanks. Any other questions?
Chris, I'm curious about the timeline on when we're switching over to this.
So you, after this meeting, you have access to it. I'll give you, you know, your information. You can log in and as Claire said, we're going to keep the information going in the normal spreadsheets that have been spreadsheet reports and PDF reports through the end of the year. And so we'd like to have everybody switched over by the end of the year. And, you know, obviously we've got a few months time for questions, clarification, and correction or anything like that that needs to happen. So.
And the login is the same login we're using for SharePoint or
No, it's not. It's different. It's your email address, but you'll have to have a different password to log into this.
Set up a different password. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I think we need to play around with it a little bit and you know, maybe, I don't know, meet again, have some feedback about it or something.
Absolutely.
Sure. Well, more questions as time goes by. So
Certainly.
Until we look at it, you know, play around with it a little bit.
Absolutely, and we fully expect that. You know, there may be things that you identify with your data that you can see visually that you wouldn't have necessarily recognized when it's just in a table or in a spreadsheet or sorted by certain things. So sometimes just having it a little bit more visually appealing can help you recognize certain things about your data. So by all means, it's one of those things where, yeah, you just have to kind of get in and play around with it and see. So Robert, Rachel, Mark, Linda, Michelle, any other questions?
Yeah, Chris, it's Eileen again. Is there a category there that says resident physicians, or is it all by age?
Nope, no, certainly is. I'll go back. So if I wanted to go, and I could look at any of these and search by residents as well, but I'll just do it on the main group. And if I chose member type, no, sorry, it's not member type. Where I did, hang on. There we go. Well, and now there's resident. Where's student? Hang on a second.
There was a category that said county resident fellow.
Yeah, there is. There it is. Yep. So, oh, I was right going past student. So you could do that, resident, fellow. If I wanted to do just active students, I could sort by the active students, and it gives me my information. I only have one in this county.
When it's saying average age, is that the age of that person? Is that?
Yeah, that would be, because
Since
there's
it
only
was-
one, so it's
Right.
very revealing. So yeah, obviously, if we have more, it kind of averages them out. So. Okay, you guys ready to get your feet wet and get dirty and play around with this? I will send you all an email. Gives you your information and a link to the website to log in. And by all means, provide some feedback. If we start getting a lot of feedback, if I start getting a lot of the same types of questions or things like that, I may just start sending it around to anybody if there's further clarification that needs to happen, or however we need to best hand out that information. So.
And Chris, can you find out if the birth date is on there too? And if not, see if they put it on?
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.